Last time on Meet the Farmer TV, we were at the Ventura County Farm Day. We saw Gill's onions and how they turn unused onion skins into fuel cell fuel. We also saw some great skincare products from Shiva's Skin Care and Goat Farm. Next up on Meet the Farmer TV, some more of the Ventura County Farm Day. We're going to visit Howling's Tomatoes. Now here's Monica Howling, Executive Assistant of Howling's Tomatoes. Monica is going to show us their solar panel field with water retention below, a cogeneration unit, and some other innovations at Howling's Tomatoes.
So here at Howling's, we have 3 different units, cogeneration units. They together combined to 13.2 megawatts of energy. So we power the whole farm, but we also sell back to the grid, enough to power 3,000 homes. I am Monica Howling, a sustainable farmer at Howling's Tomatoes, and you're watching Meet the Farmer TV.
The following episode of Meet the Farmer TV is made possible by Limonera and also by Gill's Onion. Meet the Farmer TV is independently produced by Melly Productions, Leslie P. Jenkins, Photography and Graphic Design, and Planet Earth Diversified. Independent reporting to get you the best information about local food and food from the farm to your plate. Here at Planet Earth Diversified, we operate a cogeneration unit for combined heat power. So when it's really cold outside, we can make electricity and heat a greenhouse at the same time. Let's find out how Howling's Tomatoes does cogeneration.
I'm Monica Howling. We're here at Howling's Tomatoes, and we're here for Farm Day. Howling's Tomatoes, we have 3 different locations. It was started by my Opa up in British Columbia, Canada, and now my father's taken over, Casey Howling. We have a location in Mona, in British Columbia, and in Camarillo. At Howling's, we mainly grow tomatoes. We focus on several different varieties. We have expanded into cucumbers as well, but tomatoes is our priority here. So here at Howling's Tomatoes, we're one of the several locations of farms that have opened up for visitors to come tour our farm and just see what we're about, get more comfortable with what we do, and promote eating local and the sustainability behind it all. At Howling's, we have a program that we've started up called Seeds of Tomorrow, along with a ministry in Guatemala, Impact Ministries. So what we do for them is we built a small greenhouse so they can produce more vegetables. There was malnutrition going on in this ministry where they had 5 different schools where they were feeding breakfast and lunch to the children. And so we're trying to incorporate vegetables into their diet to help combat the malnutrition. So right now we're working on building another kitchen for them in one of their new schools. And they're also working on an orphanage. So together with the ministry, we're helping to raise funds and support a project globally. So today at Farm Day, Howling's is offering product up for donation, whatever you'd like to put in, and all that money will go towards our Seeds of Tomorrow project in Guatemala, and specifically towards building this new kitchen. So as part of Farm Day, we're taking all our visitors around our facility, around the farm, showing them what we do here. So let me take you out and show you a few of our features. So here we're looking at our solar panel field with our water retention below. The solar panel produces 1 megawatt of energy, and the water retention captures any rainwater and is recycled back in to feed the plants. So the solar panel creates 1 megawatt of electricity, and it rotates with the sun as the sun moves to capture as much light as possible, and is part of our sustainable movement here at Howling's. So here at Howling's, we have 3 different units, cogeneration units. They together combined to 13.2 megawatts of energy. So we power the whole farm, but we also sell back to the grid enough to power 3,000 homes. We believe that this is something that it needs to be invested into the future as well with other farms. We're the first greenhouse in North America to use cogeneration units to power facility. The cogeneration unit is very cost effective, running it on natural gas, producing CO2 instead of us having to buy CO2 as fertilizer for the plants. So the cogeneration unit produces CO2 waste, so we capture that and recycle that back into the greenhouse to feed the plants, as well as the additional heat that's released. We then capture any extra water produced from the engine, recycle that back in through our recycled water program here. The recycled water program at Howlings is very important to us. As we are in California experiencing drought, we want to conserve as much water as possible. So here on 125 acres, we use 1/6 of the water that would be used worth 3,000 acres of field tomatoes. So as you can see at Howlings, it's a very innovative company, but it also means there's lots of movement going on all the time. We have great employees. The operation needs to be monitored 24 hours. We've got growing plants, so obviously they need to be monitored all the time. We've got computer systems that do that, great growers, employees that are packing, different shifts, sometimes up to 24 hours. Inside the greenhouse, we grow all our plants hydroponically. They're grown into a cocoa fiber bed with rock wool on top, so all the roots get their nutrition from the rock wool and the cocoa fiber. We graft all our plants up in our British Columbia facility and then ship them out to our different locations. So we have control of our plant from seed to the time it hits the retail store. The idea behind growing in a greenhouse is that you have more control, which ultimately results in a better tasting tomato. You can control the temperature, the humidity. You can deal with the Santa Ana winds, which will cause mushiness in field tomatoes, but here we pride ourselves in the best tasting tomatoes you can find. At Howlings, we pride ourselves in our filtration unit where we recycle all our water so we can reuse it. This is a great influence on the drought here in California and helping us conserve water. That's our main focus right now. Here we love our work at Howlings. We pride ourselves in the sustainability. It's so much fun working in such an innovative farm, as well with the family history involved. So the future here at Howlings is to continue to grow, continue to be innovative, conserve as much as we can, minimize our resources, and be the best greenhouse we possibly can be. We're inside one of our greenhouses at Howlings Tomatoes. This is our grape greenhouse. We have 125 acres under glass and 500 employees on site. We grow all our tomatoes hydroponically. We graft them in our Delta, British Columbia facility and then transport them here. We do interplanting, so we have year-round production. We have pickers, planters, pruners. We use biological methods for our tomatoes here to combat the pests. The greenhouse is a major advantage to us. They're pressurized to push the pests out. The temperature is monitored very closely along with the humidity. We grow several varieties of tomatoes here, from tomato on the vine, beef tomatoes, heirloom tomatoes, several variety of grape and cocktail tomatoes. We have 3 different pack houses where they're each specialized for their own variety. We compost all of our extra prunings, and that's taken out and recycled and composted. Production goes year-round here through interplanting. The plants generally last 9 months long. We use the recycled water to water the plants through a dripper system that's monitored by the intensity of the sun. It determines the amount of water they get. We grow hydroponically instead of using soil because we feel we can control the environment better for the taste of the tomato. And we can also conserve more water with hydroponics by capturing extra and recycling it. Farm Day is so important here in Ventura County because it brings education to the public about what the farms are doing, encourages local eating, and really increases the awareness of sustainability and the importance of it. The greenhouse we're in is called an ultra klima greenhouse. Casey Howling has actually patented this structure of the greenhouse from the traditional greenhouse. Our manufacturer's in Holland, so my father Casey's worked with the Dutch company to create the best that we can possibly have here, with limited vents as well for increased sunlight. The tomatoes are picked as red as possible to maximize the taste, and we also try and have the tomatoes arrive to the grocery stores as quickly as possible. You can see we use bees for pollination of all the plants. The yellow flowers are on top of the row, and as the plant grows and matures, we drop the vine down so that the tomatoes are at picking height for the pickers. This variety we're looking at is the grape tomato. This is how they pick them, pushing the cart down the row, putting them into the carton, and from here it's brought to our pack house and packed according to where it will be going. This is part of our interplanting process. So they're laying out the cocoa fiber for when the new plants arrive from British Columbia. This is the planting medium that we grow the tomatoes in. It is cocoa fiber, so when water's added, it expands and acts as nutrition. Here we're doing cleanup to ensure the greenhouse is kept as clean as possible. They are preparing these rows for new plants to arrive. Food safety is very important to us here, so we ensure the greenhouse is kept as clean as possible. Howling's Tomatoes in Camarillo is 125 acres. We have 500 employees on site. This greenhouse is about 20 acres. Here we have a picker. The tomatoes are picked as red as possible. They're picked every 4 to 5 days, depending on the time of year. The plants are lowered as the tomatoes are picked to ensure that the tomatoes are at the right height for the picker. Everything is done by piece rate here. These grape tomatoes are picked individually. We have tomato on the vine that's picked by cluster, but grape tomato is the most labor intensive. As you can see, they have to pick every tomato individually. Our employees take pride in what they do and ensure every tomato is handled with care. We're looking at one of our pickers here, picking the grape tomatoes. Each row in the greenhouse is tracked by a number, and when the tomatoes are picked, that number is coordinated with the picker and sent to the pack house and stamped on the box, so we're able to track where tomatoes are from to maximize the food safety. Stay tuned. Meet the Farmer TV. We'll be right back.
Wow, we've seen some great things at Howling's Tomatoes. Now, we've seen some great innovations from many farms. How do they get help? Well, every state has a cooperative extension service, and they provide additional information, some support, sometimes funding assistance for farmers all across the United States. Let's check out California's cooperative extension. Here's Oleg Dogarich, advisor at UCCE Ventura, University of California Cooperative Extension.
My name is Oleg Dogarich. I'm a farmer advisor with the University of California Cooperative Extension. And my job was work with strawberries and vegetables. And recently, last 6 or 7 years, I worked with caneberries, which is a big crop for us. It's a number 2 crop in the county, raspberries, but another one, blackberries, is picking up too. in interest. So that's the project we have here. For this project, we have multiple locations. Here at Hanson is one of the southern sites for this particular variety to be tested for how we can manage it better. The other two places are Santa Maria and Watsonville. So this is a variety from University of Arkansas, far away, where its climate is hot and humid, but it does a lot better on Californian coast in all locations that I mentioned, especially here in Southern California. And we're quite happy that we have a site here for multiple years now. For about 5 years, we've been looking at how this particular variety does. What's so particular special about it? It's a public variety that's available to anyone who wants to buy and plant it. And secondly, it's a primo cane variety, which means you produce fruit on the same year's growth. So you plant them in fall, the next year you'll have fruit on the same cane. You mow them down to the ground, and next year the cycle repeats. You get more fruit from the same crown. New canes show up, and you get fruit. So in this project, we'll learn how to manage it. What can it do for us here in California? In particular, our mindset is towards the production cycle of blackberries around the world. If Mexico and Michoacan comes in the market, we want to make sure that our berries don't compete with them, because we can't. And so the idea is to how to manipulate the harvest of this Primark variety here in California to get in the market window which has the highest price, when nobody else is competing for that market. So usually it's September, August, September, October, that period of time, we would like to have a highest peak of production, so we can get the premium price for those fruit from our canes. And that was the project was investigating, how we can either delay or accelerate mow down time and also prune in springtime. By the combination of those two techniques, manipulate or adjust the plant to produce during this window time. And we achieve this by early tipping or pruning, which allows plants to branch, produce more flowers and then more fruit. And also delaying their mow down time to the ground till about January or February. So this way, plant gets all the resources at the end of the fall back to the crown for next year. We'll mow to the ground, so there's nothing left here, and it will have good capacity for next year to come out and produce strong canes and a lot of capacity. Then we fertilize it, try to treat it well, so it produces a lot of good, beautiful big fruit. They go up to 2 inches long, first fruit as you see them. They're getting smaller as the time goes on, but they're attractive, delicious fruit. A few folks who came today, they love them. We measured the bricks, which is sugar in them. They're sweeter than strawberry by quite a bit. Not as sweet as grapes, but they're very desirable fruit, and they're full of antioxidants. I've been told that they're the most antioxidant-rich berry that we can have. So that's a plus. They're pretty easy to deal with. We just prune them and fertilize them and water them and let them take care of themselves. So from this experience, growers can pick it up and make it suitable for their operations, manipulate them the way they like it, grow them the way they like it, but they get all the information from us what's available. And there's a lot of potential in this variety, so we're hoping it's going to expand in this region and along the coast of California in the near future. So these berries kind of speak for themselves, and you find them in places local like Whole Foods, for example, and they sell pretty fast. And so to make a connection to how they're grown locally, we had a farm day, and some of the same berries still on the cane been shown to folks, and I picked them up, a few of them, and let some people pick them as well for themselves and try them out. And they like the flavor, the ratio of sugar to acid. They like the appearance. They're shiny and beautiful berries. I showed them how to find occasionally bad berry that have maggots, what to look for. We looked at bricks, the sugar content with everybody, let them compare strawberries and blackberries, let them find for themselves what their tongue is tasting otherwise. Put some numbers into that metric. So that was quite interesting, so people had a chance to walk through those rows and look how they grow. It's towards the end of the season, not much production here, but there's still a lot to see. We see beautiful flowers full of bees. We see green fruit. We see some of the ripe fruit still hanging on there between the picking harvest. So that was a good experience for a lot of folks who just wanted to see how this berries differ from what they expect from back in the day, from their lives in Oregon and Washington in general, what they know about blackberries. So this is quite a different scenario here. And I think a lot of people were pretty excited to see that. I think the importance of this particular work is we're taking something new, variety from Arkansas, which is public variety, hasn't been tested in California yet, and making some kind of information available to everybody who wants to learn and hear about this. So you can make your decisions to plant a small amount of plants for your home garden or for fruit stand, or if you want to plant hundreds of acres of this, we'll get information that we have freely shared with you, and you could make your decisions about how to market and sell them and how to grow them. So this is information that hasn't been available before because predominantly all the caneberries are proprietary. So this information not available to anyone. So this kind of information open here creates a lot of interest from a variety of small, medium to large size growers who will want to diversify and have a high value crop that pays for the land, very expensive land we have in Ventura County, very quickly because you get first year's harvest. So it's a perennial crop you can get feed money from for the very first year after you plant it. So after we prune those plants, we come and harvest them sometime in June. And there are a few fruits in June, and they pick up in August, September. We still have fruit here all the way to December sometimes, if the weather cooperates. And we're looking at, say, a typical cluster here. They're pretty large berries. You see all stages from black to red to just barely turning colors from green. It takes about a month from end of the flowering to produce ripe fruit. They're relatively easy to pick. You take the berries are pretty good size, about 12 grams. You remove the whole thing with a receptacle, and it fills up your shell pretty quickly. They're attractive, as I said, shiny and big and juicy, so that creates a lot of customer recognition for the fruit.
And now here's Christopher Smith, the director of the University of California Cooperative Extension in Ventura County.
My name is Christopher Smith. I'm the director for the University of California Cooperative Extension here in Ventura County, as well as the Hansen Agricultural Research and Extension Center, which is the site that you're at. The Hansen Agricultural Research and Extension Center here in Santa Paula is one of 9 research extension centers in the University of California system. Here at Hansen, we can conduct research as well as education activities. Our education activities include the Youth and Families and Communities programs, which is our K-12 field trips here to the farm, so students in classrooms, in our school classrooms, can see and feel and play with dirt and plants that they typically will, fruits and vegetables they typically will only see at a grocery store. So they can actually see where it's grown in the ground and play with it and see how, feel the texture of it. Here at Hansen, we conduct what we call applied research, or field research on various kinds of crops. We have several, not just crops, but also pests and pathogens. So we have fields that are dedicated to doing research on strawberries. Another project we have is with Tamarixia, the predatory wasp for the Asian citrus psyllid. And then another project, ongoing project that you'll hear about later is Dr. Oleg Dalgovich is doing a blackberry growth cultivation research project. Farm Day is very important, not just for the Hansen Agricultural Research Extension Center, but also for all growers here in Ventura County, because it introduces the consumer that typically only sees their fruits and vegetables in a grocery store to where it's actually grown and where the source of that product or produce comes from. An example of sustainable agricultural research that we're doing here is with Dr. Dolgovich's research on strawberries using anaerobic soil disinfection techniques. That is using different kinds of carbon, putting different kinds of carbon sources into the soil and then creating an anaerobic environment to disinfect the soil, essentially to kill all the nematoids or the soil worms that are typically devastating to plant growth. The majority of the activities we have here at the Hansen site are educational in nature. So I'd say about 70–80% of our activities. We have those field trip programs for K-12 students, as well as activities where we take our exhibitry into the classrooms. Because this is the University of California Research Station, an education station, that is essentially the focus on it. Although we do partner, sometimes they will bring their in collaboration, so it's a collaborative effort. They will come in, but we don't host third-party entity events here at the facility. It needs to be a collaboration. It's the same thing when we have growers, they want to try different varieties of things. It needs to be a collaboration with our research staff or education staff. The University of California Cooperative Extension also oversees the Master Gardener, the County Master Gardener program. And what you're looking at here is the Master Gardener demonstration gardens, as well as their training facilities. So they have gardens here that you can't see, they're out of our view, where each of the new trainees have to plant vegetables and flowers as a part of their training program. And so they maintain they've got different themed areas in here: herb garden, succulent gardens, citrus, stone fruit, and then they experiment with different kinds of landscaping. For example, there's a term for this, epile I think it's called, where they actually train an apple to grow along some wire lines in your garden. So this is, and you'll see it here, they're starting another variety behind you, sort of an archway, and that's not a typical vine, that's an apple tree that they're actually training. So this is the kinds of things that master gardeners do. And what the master gardeners, once they're trained here, they will go out into the community and help community home gardeners with their home gardens, either landscaping or a real vegetable garden.
You're watching Meet the Farmer TV. We've had 2 episodes all about the Ventura County Farm Day. We've got a 3rd one coming up for you. We've seen some wild things. Gill's Onions making fuel cell fuel, skin care from Shiva's Skin Care and Goat Farm. We've also seen Howling's Tomatoes and solar panels and cogeneration and cooperative extension of Ventura County. Next up on Meet the Farmer TV, some more of the Ventura County Farm Day.
Hi, I'm Mary Marinville, the founder of Students for Eco-Education and Agriculture and Ventura County Farm Day, and you are watching Meet the Farmer TV.
Getting kids to learn about the farms. So we couldn't be happier having a dance floor full of kids.
Farm Warrior is taking on some of those big battles.
We can all look at the difficulties of what farming and agriculture might be, but it's only through people like Mary and her organizations. Alex Flores is here with the high school group. You know, the community understands that it's an organic system that we have to create here as far as talent, education, people
that work the fields, that put the food directly on the trucks that come to your tables.
All the parents that come along with the children, that keep them in line. We're truly grateful when those buses come out. We see them going through the orchards, particularly some of our test orchards here, see the different type of fruit, see the colored type fruit, the red oranges, the big pomelos, and their eyes just light up. And it's just truly fabulous to see that positive attitude coming towards farming.
Even with America's rich agricultural heritage, students don't know where their food is coming from.
Hopefully it'll inspire a few of them to consider the possibility of careers in agriculture. The programs we're setting up are going to be targeted at the 3rd grade level, and that's just a great age. They're still young enough to be innocent and curious, but they're old enough to be smart and sophisticated in their understanding.
The preceding episode of Meet the Farmer TV was made possible by Limonera and also by Gill's Onions.